So much recently has been made about this new release or reveal about the Codex Imperial agents, otherwise known as the Inquisition. Now, I've been watching a few videos on this because I am a big fan of the Inquisition, the Imperial agents. And one thing I agree with everyone who I've seen talking about this, such as Chapter Master Valrak and Discourse Minis and a few others. I don't know what the politics are like and don't care. This is about Warhammer. Is that Games Workshop just feels incredibly lazy at this point. I mean, this guy is the new release of an old miniature. They've re-sculpted him. And, I mean, I can't even remember his name. I don't care. Like, Kotiaz. I'm not a big lore guy. I'm a game guy, right? And this was disappointing to everyone because, yeah, he looks like shit. Okay? He looks very uninspired. Like, he's not in an interesting position. And as Valrak pointed out, like, look at him on the cover. Dude, he looks awesome on the cover. Why didn't you do that? What's wrong with that? That looks great. Put him hammed in the F. Absolutely about to smash something. Good idea. But no, instead he's just kind of standing around like he's bored. And if the miniature looks like he's bored, well, why wouldn't I be bored? And there's a general problem with composition on it. It's too, like, busy here. There's too much going on. His face looks, like, honestly ugly. And not ugly in a cool way. Ugly in a kind of depressed, flattened way. Doesn't look very good, basically. And he's not an improvement on the previous one. And so what was the point of this? Why take the bird off his arm? The bird, have it on his shoulder or something. You know, it would give him presence and size. Who knows? But that's the point, right? Games Workshop does feel like they're lazy. And just let's scrub through this Agents of the Imperium video, right? Because, like I said, I loved the idea of Agents of the Imperium. I remember being about 13, 14 years old. And at the time, the rules allowed you to take, like, allies or certain kinds of allies. And you could take an Imperial assassin, so I got the Evisor, I can't remember how you pronounce it. The close combat one and the sniper one, right? I got those two because they were the coolest. And I love the fact that you could get... I remember getting an Inquisitor and Terminator armor, and it was quite difficult to get. I had to go to a convention to get it because the local store didn't have it when I was living in Germany. And so I was thrilled to get my Inquisitor and Terminator armor. He was great character model because Terminator armor used to be badass. It still is, actually, to be fair. And, you know, I love tanky heroes. And so it's like, okay, how have you made this boring? Right? How have you made this, like, uninspiring? But, like, okay, so the servitors are basically the same, and they look terrible, to be honest. These guys, though, I like the look of them. They're cool. They're very cool. Right? I don't know what they do. Like, Minstorm Priest or whatever it is. Okay, cool. Good idea. You know, that's nice. He's a small thing. Then you've got the various kinds of assassins, which are not new. Again, nothing new, really, apart from a new sculpt, but okay, great. Then you've got the Chimera. That's boring and old. Grey Knights, they're old. I mean, they're not... I like the Grey Knights. I had a Grey Knights army. They're not bad or anything. But nothing new there. And then, okay, Navigator, that's cool. Don't know what he does. That's cool. I don't think he's new, though. I don't think this guy's new, and I don't like the name characters anyway. I never have. Void's Men at Arms. I mean, they're new-ish to me because they weren't in this when I had a Grey Knights or Inquisitor army. Rogue Trader Entourage, cool. Okay, they look cool. They look creative. They look like they'd be fun to paint. I like it. Right, but again, they're not new. Not new. Loads of stuff that's not new. An Immolator from the Sisters of Battle, not new. What are you talking about? The Adept Arbite squads. Now, I like the Adept Arbites. I remember back in the day, again, you couldn't get an Adeptus Arbite squad for love nor money, and they had a 4+ save, so they weren't great. They were, you know, not as good as Space Marines, but they were cool because they weren't Space Marines, right? But you couldn't have an entire army of them. So you couldn't have them as, like, your mainline infantry for an army or anything, which is a shame because I always liked the idea of building, like, weird and, you know, off-kilter armies. Like, for example, in the last Chaos Codex release, it had a rule explicitly saying, look, only half of your army can be Chaos Cultists. You can't have more Cultists than you have Marines. I'm like, why? I would love to build just a horde Chaos Cultist army. I think that might actually have been taken out in 10th. I haven't checked. But, like, why? Like, I love the idea of a Chaos Cultist army. Just waves of minions. And, they're just shit, but you have fucking loads of them. But anyway, not new. Oh, look, Sisters of Battle Squad, not new. You know, like, again, it's a cool faction. I love the aesthetic of the faction. I love the differentiation between the models, right? But this whole thing just genuinely, and I agree with them, feels lazy. Like that's just a boring guy in Terminator armor. The previous Inquisitors, look at them, they're like steampunk witch hunters. Like literally like Matthew Hopkins in space. That's cool. Very, very cool. You know, more of that, please. But I just thought it'd be worth expanding this because, let's be fair, Games Workshop have been profoundly lazy for a profoundly long time. I have an Eldar army. I would love to get some Warp Spiders. But the thing is, I bought these models literally when I was 13. I remember when they came out in 2nd edition. And everyone was blown away. Wow, they're cool. They've got great abilities. The Warp Jump, the Death Spinners, I think that's what they're called. They're awesome. They've got 3+ save, which is always good for Eldar. They're really, really awesome. But I'm not buying the same models 30 years ago that I purchased. I'm not doing it. Right? I love Warp Spiders, but these are the exact same sculpts. I mean, the Striking Scorpions have only just got an update to their model line. And it's like, you are so lazy. What is wrong with you? Like, you have a massive team. You could just like, right, get 5 guys. They've got 3 months or whatever. I want a new set of Warp Spiders, doing in cool poses, doing cool things, whatever it is, just make it happen. And then, hey guys, guess what? Boom, new Warp Spiders. Because what? I did actually go out and buy the new Striking Scorpions. I haven't painted them or anything yet, but they are actually on my list of things to do. Because why? Because I love the Striking Scorpions. They were always one of my favourites. Warp Spiders, an easy second favourite. But then you just look at the armies themselves, right? The armies themselves, there is some real lazy design that's gone into this. So obviously I'm a Thousand Suns player as well, right? Let's have a look at these 25 units, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these, 6, 7, 8 of these are just stock Chaos units that anyone can get. Sorry. And that's just the vehicles, right? Then you've got Chaos Spawn. So that's 9. So I'm now down to 16 unique units, right? I'm not interested in Zangors, right? And if I could take an entire army of Zangors, like with the Chaos Cultists, I might be interested, actually, because it'd be something different and weird and fun to play. Right? It'd be, very unusual. But I'm just not really interested in the Zangors. I don't know why they've been like tacked onto the Thousand Suns, and I don't care, right? So that's another 3 types of unit that I'm just not, and when I say 25, I mean, maybe not 25, maybe like 22, 23 because of other things, right? But so basically I've got 22, in fact, it looks like different kinds of units. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unique Thousand Suns units. And of these, only the Scarab Occult Terminators and the Rubric Marines are actually like infantry you would spend, a lot of points building a big squad of. And so I have 2 big squads of Terminators and 3 big squads of Rubric Marines. Why? Because I've got nothing else to choose from. Like, how profoundly short-sighted and lazy are Games Workshop? Like, you have this 10,000-year-old Psyker Knight, like Sorcerer Knight faction. And like, yeah, you get 2 kinds of infantry. What is wrong with you? Why don't you have loads of different... They're literally the followers of the Lord of Change, except for when it comes to their soldiers, who are all the same. It's like, what is wrong with you? Why haven't I got loads of different kinds of infantry that I can choose from? Make them do different things. Make them different. Give them different psychic abilities or sorcerer abilities, whatever you call them now. It's just not interesting. I only have 2 different types. It's just so lazy. It's so goddamn lazy. Oh, you've got 1 strange warp beast. Why can't I have a dozen strange warp beasts? Like, make up new different kinds of warp beasts. Make them do things. Make them do interesting things. And when it comes to the interchangeable chaos things, okay, right. You know what I always liked? way back in the day. It was the Blood Angels Librarian Dreadnought. I thought it was a cool idea. Yeah, if a Librarian is mortally wounded, why wouldn't you want to put him in a Dreadnought and give the Dreadnought psychic powers? Why is it that the Thousand Sons don't have some sort of Psyker Dreadnought, Hellbrute, whatever you want to call it, or a Defiler, or whatever? Why is it that I literally have a Psyker in every single squad of infantry, but I can't get a Psyker Dreadnought? Like, I don't even know if it doesn't have to be great or anything. I just want it because it'd be cool. It'd be awesome. But no, there's a total and profound lack of creativity at Games Workshop. People aren't wrong to just say, well, you're just lazy. You are lazy, right? Look at the Khorne World Eaters, right? And I'd show you the Emperor's Children, but of course there isn't a separate faction for Emperor's Children, so you can't do that. Again, it's only been 40 years or whatever since they were invented. Why would they have a full roster? And again, you've got literally the god of excess, sensory excess. You could do anything with these units you wanted. You could have so many different kinds of units that were dedicated to a different kind of sensory excess. And yet all we have are the Noise Marines. It's like, oh my God, Games Workshop, what is wrong with you? Right. But the World Eaters are really, really, really uninspiring. Right. So of course you've got the recycled old things that have been around forever, Khorne Berserkers. And then you've got, of course, they don't even have their own. They don't even have their own special Terminators. Like, why the hell don't they have their own special Terminators? What is wrong with you, Games Workshop? You're leaving money on the table, right? You get a team of 5 men and go, right, design me Chaos Khorne World Eater Terminators. I want squads of World Eater Terminators because people would buy them. Why isn't there a World Eater's special Mauler Fiend? A thing that fills the role of the Mauler Fiend but is Khorne World Eaters only. Why doesn't that exist? That makes perfect sense that it would exist. It would be cool. Again, you're leaving money on the table. But okay, so what have we got? We've got the 8 bound. What a shit design they are. Why 8? Oh, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. No, but 8 demons in each one. Why? It's totally arbitrary. Why not just 1 demon? 1 demon would be enough. So you're right, there's a demon bound in these guys. Oh, there's an even more powerful demon. There's 8 of them. That's stupid. It's not connected to anything. If you have 5, you could be like this, like a pentagram, or 6, so you've got the 666 or something like that. No, 8. It's totally arbitrary. It's connected to nothing. And I mean, why don't I have Juggernaut Cavalry? Why don't I have anything good? Like, there are so many things that are just missing. Oh, you get a Lord of Skulls. Yeah, no one runs that 'cause it's pretty massive. It is cool. I'm glad it exists. But again, why not a Khorne Hellbrute? Why not something special for the faction? This is all money you leave on the table, and I don't understand why. Like, the Death Guard are a better example, where they've got their own special Terminators. They've got, Plague Marines, which are interesting enough. They've got, like, weird things, like, what is it? Like, individual units that do stuff. I don't play these guys, so I don't know. Death Shroud Bodyguard. This is cool. Why don't the Thousand Sons have these kinds of things? Why don't the World Eaters have these kinds of things? It's really bizarre that there's such a limited scope here. But again, I'm just going and repeating the point. Games Workshop are profoundly lazy and suffer from an incredible, crippling lack of creativity to the point where they're just recycling the same thing over and over and over. And when you actually look at the new Space Marines, right? They're not very inspiring. Like, I'm not like, oh wow, I really need to have intercessors. I buy intercessors resentfully because I need to have line infantry in my army. And they're not the thing I'm excited about. It used to be, I was excited about buying Space Marines. Space Marines were cool. They were awesome. Intercessors are boring. How have you made them boring? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Basically, everyone is right. Games Workshop is just profoundly lazy and totally lacking creativity. And I don't know why. They could literally do anything.